I think if you're a guy and you take a girl out and you don't cover the bill, I don't think you were raised right.
I think if a guy's asking a girl out and he pays and he expects something in return, he's nuts.
But that's what I mean.
When I go out with a girl, I'm single, when I go out with girls, if I'm paying, I don't expect her to do anything.
Because a lot of, especially Insta baddies, whatever, they get offered to be flown out.
Right.
Do you think those men are doing it out of the goodness of their heart? I'm just doing it because I'm just trying to provide an experience for this really hot woman who I don't even know. I think to get women, you have to be a top of the range guy. To get woman, you don't have to be. If you just want to get woman, I think you don't have to be. Yo guys, welcome back to another episode on my channel. I'm sitting in this spot, which means I've got a great conversation lined up for you today. On this channel, we love to talk about all things dating, relationships, and seeing what we can do to attract the kind of person and relationship we want. So without further ado, please welcome Javen to the show. Javen, my man, how you doing, man?
I'm very well, man. Thank you for having me.
Nah, thanks for being here. Man's come out looking fresh, yeah? Just came from his mom's. Listen,
Literally.
Don't mind the boy. So Javen, I always love to jump straight in, okay? So first tell us your age and one thing a girl should know about you if you're going to take her on a date.
Oof. Well, I'm 30, just turned 30.
Okay,
so.
Congratulations.
One thing a girl should know about me on a date. She doesn't need to bring her purse, man.
Oh, okay, man's got it like that.
She ain't got to bring her purse. It's all good.
Okay. As in you're a big spender on the first date or what?
Nah, not a big spender, but I think on the first date, if I'm asking you, it's my duty to, I think, pay. Yeah. Personally.
I hear that.
Actually, when I'm out with a girl anyway, I just feel like I should pay. It's just...
Even with female friends?
Even with female friends, I'll just pay. Because I just feel like if I'm taking you out, I don't know, I don't feel like that's her burden, innit? Like if she wants to treat me, then yeah, but if she's not treating me and we're out, I just feel like I don't mind doing it.
Do you feel a type of way if she offers to pay?
I appreciate when she offers to pay. I won't let her, but I appreciate it.
Yeah, 100%. Why do you appreciate it?
I think, I had this conversation 3 weeks ago with one of my boys as well. I think that it's the gesture to know that, hey, I'm not being used here.
Do you know what's so funny? I've had this conversation with girls so many times, yeah, and I tell them that's exactly how it comes across to a guy. It's not about the money, it's about the gesture. It's
because you see a lot of stuff online these days and girls are like, oh, no 50-50. I don't think, when some guys say 50-50, I don't think they really mean it. Like, oh, you got to go hard all the time. I just think what they're really saying is, I want you to show that you would pay if the pressure was on, but I don't need you to pay. I don't want you to pay.
Do you know what's so funny? I think it's both, and the reason I say that is because especially our generation, we've grown up in a day and age of equality. So there are a lot of guys who have been told that a lot of stereotypical traditional masculine stuff is wrong and toxic, but also they're going like, hold on, but we're equals here. Why should I have to pay for you? Yeah,
that's true.
Because what's your background?
Jamaica.
Okay. So I feel like a lot of the time when you have someone from a cultural household, there's some traditional values that are kind of instilled in us. So like my family Nigerian, do you know what I mean? But when you have guys who are just pure Western, pure breed, a lot of the time, especially our generation, it's like, okay, some will be like, yeah, maybe I'll pay for the date if I ask her out. But some it's like, no, 50-50 because men and women are equal. So
yeah.
why are we playing games with that? But yeah, definitely offering to pay from her makes a good impression on you.
100%.
Interesting. Have you ever had a girl go insist that she splits?
Yeah, but I'll still pay. I'll still pay, but I have had girls offer. But I think I've never taken it any type of way. You know what I mean? I've never taken it where I've never felt like it's a slight on me if she is insisting that she'll pay. I just think maybe from her perspective, she feels like, she doesn't want to feel like I'm just doing everything for her, which is fine because it kind of goes back to what you said about that equality thing. And some women really want to be like, no, I can look after myself, boom, boom, boom. So it could potentially become combative in the future, but
yeah.
No, I'm paying. Right. But yeah, man.
I think just because a few of the girls I've talked to, I think some have had experiences where, or they feel if a guy pays, then she feels like she owes him. So maybe she owes him to pay for something, or maybe she owes him, right, because you paid, now do I need to fulfill some kind of physical expectation that you have?
Right, okay.
So I think sometimes if a girl insists twice, I'll be like, okay, I'll let her pay because she feels uncomfortable me paying for whatever reason. Do you know what I mean?
That's a good point. I can hear that, but So you're saying that as if, okay, so if a girl is insisting on paying, she doesn't want the guy to pay because she may feel like she's now indebted to the man, right?
Yes. So if she offers, obviously I'll be like, no, I got this. If she insists, I'm like, honestly, it's fine. But if she continues to insist, then I'll let her. Because I'm like, okay, she feels uncomfortable me paying for some reason.
But do you think that men pay with an expectation that they're going to get something in return?
Some do, yes. Because some women demand a man to pay. So here's the thing, right? Here's what I'd say. I think if you're a guy and you take a girl out and you don't cover the bill, I don't think you were raised right. If you as a woman go out on a date and you don't offer, I don't think you were raised right, right? So with a guy, because there's some women who go, if you take him out, it needs to be this kind of restaurant, it needs to be here, and you have to pay, etc. Some guys who go, okay, cool. You're making these demands early on. I'm going to have demands of you, right? There's no like, if you have this expectation, right, nothing comes for free. So it's one of those things where as a woman, it's nice if he pays, but it shouldn't be a demand that you have on the contingents of you going out. And the reason I say that is because you are strangers to each other. You don't know each other. So it's more about what's the impression he gives by paying. Like when a guy pays, we do it because we want to make the right impression. But don't go out if you can't afford yourself.
I agree.
Do you know what I mean?
I agree.
So yeah, like what do you think about that?
I think if a guy's asking a girl out and he pays and he expects something in return, he's nuts.
But that's what I mean.
I think he's nuts. I think that's nuts because when I go out with a girl, yeah, I'm single, yeah. When I go out with girls, if I'm paying, I don't expect her to do anything for me or with me. And I'm not saying that to pander or anything like that, because I'm the last person that will be pandering if you know about me. But I just think that if I'm paying, I'm just paying for the experience to have with you. Whatever happens after, happens after. But I don't expect you in any type of way to kind of make up for me spending money. Money's money, bro. One day I'm going to die and be in a guy. I don't care about money that much. Like, obviously I care because I want to live my life, but I'm not holding on to my P's like, oh, you know.
I hear you. So do you know what? I'll give you an equivalent. It's kind of like where, you know, because a lot of, you know, especially these Insta baddies, whatever, they get offered to be flown out.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Do you think those men are doing it out of the goodness of their heart? I'm just doing it because I'm just trying to provide an experience for this really hot woman who I don't even know.
Yeah, no, they're not.
They're doing it for a reason.
Of course.
They're doing it for a reason.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so that does apply. I understand that kind of, yeah, it does apply. Yes,
Yeah.
I agree.
But I agree. Like, if you ask a girl out, then, you know, you cover the evening. Listen, one of my producers was fanboying over this man. Because man's just been hot off the press. Love is blind. How was that experience for you?
Oh, man. So I'll break it down into two phases. Obviously, you've got the filming phase, right? So that experience in itself, the actual going on the show, filming, it's a legal marriage, which a lot of people don't know.
It's a legal marriage.
Legal marriage. So if you get married, you're signing the paperwork versus married at first sight, right? It's a fake marriage. Like, there's no paperwork.
Yeah.
Whereas our one's different. So the filming itself is quite intense. Like, it's if you make it to the end, you do about 7 weeks of filming. You can't work. Well, I work for myself, but you don't get your phone and laptop back until like week 3.
Yes.
So you can't really work. But overall, like the filming side was really fun until like you actually get with your partner and you go on holiday.
Yeah.
That part is not that fun because you go from filming every day, but not just being filmed in a private setting. It's all in a group setting or in the pods when you don't get to see your partner.
Yes.
Versus, okay, you go on holiday, you go on your honeymoon, and it's just you, your partner, and you get a dedicated camera crew.
Right.
And that's when it's like, oh wow, now it's like you lot are in my bedroom, with like you're in my living room, you're following me, I can't go anywhere on my own. Yeah. So that's when it started to get a bit more intrusive. Yeah. And you're trying to build a relationship with someone you don't even know. Yeah. On camera, and the camera crew's
honeymoon,
with you 24 hours a day. So that was probably the most intense bit. And then also the producers, like it's a TV show, innit? So they've got to like egg things on. Yeah. So yeah. But then, and obviously that's a year ago. So then you have a year where you're not doing anything. You go back to normal life. Yeah. So you can't talk about the show. Obviously my friends and family know, but you can't talk about the show. So you have a year from, I came out the show in October last year. So, and the show came out in August this year. So you have a good solid 10 months of not doing anything to do with the show. Yeah. Until it comes out. Then when it comes out, it's a whole nother palaver because
Yeah.
now people are seeing the show, and plus we see it when everyone else sees it.
Yeah, so you haven't even seen the edited version. You don't know what's in, what's out.
So I don't know how they
portray.
chopped it up. I don't know. What's obviously I
Yeah.
got the villain edit this year. I was the bad guy this year. But I don't know how they chopped it up. So I'm sitting there watching it just like everybody else. Like, okay. And I'm watching it like,
You're like,
well,
damn, I hate me too.
no, but for real, I actually said that. I'm like, that didn't happen like that. Like, I'm looking at it and you know. So the experience of doing it versus the experience of watching it is like
Yes.
two different things. It's a bit surreal.
Yeah, of course.
Watching yourself on Netflix as well, big platform.
Yeah.
But yeah, when it came out, obviously I call it the villain edit, but I was kind of redeemed in the end in terms of the way the story went.
So how did they edit you, give you the villain edit? What was accurate? What wasn't accurate where you're like, this didn't happen that way?
Okay, wicked, good question. So I've got too many examples, man. The first thing.
Start with the biggest.
All right, the first thing. So obviously there's the way they drop the show is like every Wednesday, episode 1 to 4 comes out, then 4 to 8 or 5 to 9, whatever. So you got the first block of episodes. Bro, even the way I'm introduced, bro, they got me walking in, smiling, rubbing my hands. Then I sit down, and they do a MIV, right? For those of you that don't know what a MIV is, it's called a master interview, where it's just you and the camera. And in the MIV, the producers obviously behind the camera and they're asking me questions. And I was like, I don't struggle to date. You know, I don't struggle to date multiple women at the same time. And but you see how they chopped it up to make it sound mad because
but you say that now. I already know.
I've said it, but here's the thing. In context of the show, it's 15 guys and 15 girls. You're dating multiple women at the same time.
Is that what you meant?
So that's what I meant. I'm saying to them, like, bro, like, it's not hard to do because they were asking me, is it difficult? I'm like, well, it's not difficult. I'm just sitting in the room talking to girls. Like, I do that at home, innit? I can sit in my room talk to girls all day. So that was the point I was making. But they tried to make it sound like it was some mad thing. And then on top of that, and then episode 1 to 4 as well.
Yeah.
Also, they're building the characters, right?
Yes.
So because I was in a love triangle on the show
with you and
me
which other guy?
And Katisha, which was the girl, and then Demila, which was another guy. I was in a love triangle. They've built it where he's the good guy and I'm the bad guy.
Right.
So when you're in the pods, so let me explain how it works. There's 15 guys, 15 girls.
Yep.
On the first day, you date all 15 girls for 8 minutes. Day 2, it's a little bit more time, less dates. As the days go by, it's less dates, but more time.
Got you.
So in the end, you're sitting in pods for like 2 hours with one girl.
Wow.
So obviously they can only edit so much.
Yes.
But the way they make it look is as if like I'm in the pods just being dry, you know, giving low effort, being nonchalant.
Right.
And he's in the pods just
pouring
his heart out, like pouring his heart out, saying I couldn't sleep last night, all this kind of stuff.
Right.
But they're making it seem like I wasn't being emotional or anything like that in there. And I probably wasn't saying his kind of words, but me and him are two different guys.
Yes.
But I weren't in there saying what he was saying. But I was giving some, like I wasn't putting my heart on the table.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, everyone plays the game differently. I don't think for me, that's not my style. So the way they've edited it, if they just made me look like I didn't care, cool, boom. Then there's the next part where we go to the honeymoon. So that's episodes 5 to 9, yeah?
So what was the girl's name? Katisha. So it's like, surely though, for her to choose you, there need to be some valid reason if you were so dry.
I mean, but that's what the people don't see. So
yeah.
I think what I would say to most people is like, what you don't see is just as powerful as what you do see
of course,
on the show.
Of course.
And I think that, you know, people think I just sat in there and did nothing. And she just turned around like, bro, I might be good with my words, but I'm not a magician. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not a magician. She obviously felt something for me that she didn't feel for Demila. Even though Demila is a great guy, that's my boy, like me and him are cool. Like she obviously felt something for me, which is why she made a decision. And I think what made people angry, upset is basically on the show, there's day 11 is the day that all the men have to propose, right? The day before, day 10, she basically said to me she's going to go with him. And she told him that I'm going to go with you, Demil. I'm going to go with you. You got nothing to worry about. She said you got nothing to worry about. They even show it on the show.
Right.
So he's left that date happy, buzzing. Yeah. I've come back from my date, like not vexed, but I just, like, I was clear. Yeah, I just like, look, okay, it's not going to work. And even when she told me, she was like, I was just like, okay, that's cool. Like, you know, if you feel like that's the best decision for you, well done. So on the way they've shown it is obviously they've shown that and they've made her look mad because the way she's done it. Then the next day, I've gone into the pod and in my MIV and in the lounge room, I'd said to the guys, look, I'm not proposing today. The only way that I'm walking out there married is if she proposes to me. That's what I said. People weren't happy with that, but I still stand on that. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
Is it because she told you that she's not?
She just told me she's gonna go with
She
another
goes someone
guy.
else. Yeah, fair enough.
What do you want me to do?
Why would you propose? No, I agree.
So I'm like, look, there's the only way I'm walking out this pod saying I'm engaged is if she's proposing to me. I don't care. I don't care if people like that or not. I don't care.
Yeah.
So I've gone in there now and I'm like, you know what? They don't show none of this on the show, but I'm like, you know what, Katisha, like, I've enjoyed talking to you, getting to know you, but you know, you're gonna go with someone else. I think that the best decision here is I'm not gonna continue, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, no, you know, even if it means that I have to propose, I want you to stay, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, I can't let her propose, can I? So, but these times I don't know that she's already rejected Demola.
So why did she reject him? Why did she say no?
She's never really given like a clear answer.
Right.
She just said, you know, she just didn't feel it at the time. She never really gave like a clear answer.
Is he like a real nice guy? Like a real nice, like kind of safe, like I know he's a nice, safe guy.
I think he is a nice guy. He's a nice guy. I think he can be a bad guy if he wants to be.
Sure.
But I think, yeah, he's just very nice. He is a very just nice character.
Yeah.
Whereas me, you know, I'm not someone, it's not that I can't be nice, but I pick and choose when I want to be nice. Like some people don't deserve my niceness, you know what I mean? Like,
very true.
So it's like, we just operate differently.
That's why she picked you, bro. No, I'm going to keep it real. And actually, it's really interesting because if people watch Love is Blind, this is, well, not that looks don't play a part, but it really does showcase in terms of how you come across, especially as a guy, and just being nice, right? And just feeling very safe doesn't necessarily is what makes a woman aroused by you. She can feel safe by you, but if she doesn't feel aroused by you, right? Then it's like, okay, I know this is like, feels like a safe option, but actually this guy is who stimulates me. This is the guy that I'm intrigued by, which is clearly what happened here. And so it's funny because now she looks like she's choosing the bad guy.
Right.
And then every guy at home is literally watching this being like, oh, so even when you're being the best good guy, you still don't get the girl. Bad guy still wins.
Listen, and it's funny because there was a comment that I made in the lounge where basically there was a date where he gave her flowers. Mind you, I've been told that apparently I knew, but I don't remember, innit? And I'm not being disingenuous when I say this, but at the time, firstly, I didn't even know that you could send gifts to the other side because we don't see the girls. We don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what the rules are. So when I hear that man are giving gifts to the other side, I'm thinking, right, this is, you lot are playing against the rules here. I thought everyone's over here, you got to talk, that's it.
Yeah.
So I heard he got her flowers. So I can't remember what she said to me, but she said something about, you know, the other guys making gestures, blah, blah, blah. And at the time, I wasn't sure if it was him, but I felt like I knew it was him because we didn't talk about it that much. So I came back in the lounge and I was like, oh, you know, some man in here are love bombing. Bro, people were on to me. They're like, how is that love bombing? He's just being a nice guy. I'm like, well, I was just saying it at the time because I didn't know.
Do you know what's so funny, right? If he had done that because he was genuinely interested, but then he ended up going to someone else, the girls would say he loved bomb her.
Right. Oh,
that's actually a fact.
I didn't think of it like that. But
it's true.
It's true, isn't it?
It's true. If he was like, oh, I'm getting to know these both girls, I'm gonna make an effort with both of them. You know, I sent her flowers, like we're talking, I'm actually gonna go with her. Everyone would be like, he love bombed her.
That's a fact. I didn't even think of it like that, but that's true.
Do you know what I mean? And I mean, look at the way it turned out. So,
yeah, man.
Okay, interesting. So watching it back for you, what did you learn about yourself? Did you learn anything about yourself watching it back?
I think it's more, it reaffirmed certain things that I already knew. So especially around communication. So in the show and in real life as well, the way that it broke down and the reason that we didn't make it to the aisle was purely down to communication. There may have been some other factors that they tried to paint as the main reason, but it was more down to communication. And I'll give you a prime example. There was an incident where she was upset that I went out one night, right? And that evening, we'd been at a mixer. I came back, was eating. She was upset. I said to her, oh, what are you upset about? Like, tell me. She was like, oh, I had an argument with one of the girls. Blah, blah, blah. So I'm thinking that's what she's upset about. As far as I'm aware, at this current moment, that's what she's upset about. We go downstairs, I get a phone call. They're like, guys, we're going to this club in Manchester. Do you want to come? I'm like, yeah, I'm coming. Cool. I'm begging her to come. I'm like, yo, come. Da, 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 da. I can see she's upset. So I'm like, you sure you don't want to come? She's like, no, just go. Boom, boom, boom. Now, I leave. Obviously, I know she was upset, but I'm asking her why she's upset. She's not telling me.
Mhm.
So there's only so much I can do in it. So I'm leaving. I come back. I'm gonna go. Come back. I get back the next morning. Not even in the morning. Maybe like 2 or 3 days later.
Yeah.
She was like, "Oh, I was upset because you knew I was meeting her family that day, and I didn't want you to come back drunk or hungover." And I was like, firstly, I don't drink that much. Like, I'm not a big drinker, innit? Like, it's just not my thing.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm not a big drinker. That morning, I was in the gym. You saw me. I got up early, went to the gym, come back. So I know you weren't worried about me being drunk. But more importantly, why didn't you just tell me that there and then?
Exactly.
And that's things like that is what I realized for me personally. If I'm gonna get in another relationship, I need someone that's not afraid to be a bit more upfront with how they feel.
100%.
And it doesn't mean. And sometimes people say, "Oh yeah, but why should I have to like bring up conflict every time?" It doesn't mean you have to do it in a combative way.
Yes.
You could even this would have been good enough for me. Hey Jav, I don't want to talk about it right now, but I prefer if you don't go out because I'm upset about something. I could take that because at least I know what's going on. You don't have to tell me everything because you don't want to argue. That's cool. So I would say watching it back, I realized more that I definitely need a big communicator.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I'm just going from the situation you told me. If I was going out, if I was with a girl and I was going out and I'm like, hey, you know, what's up? You okay? She's like, no, yeah, I'm fine. She doesn't want to talk about it. I'm like, okay, cool. And then the following day, she's like, I'm upset because you went out. I'd be like, I'm not having this conversation. Like, are we children? I'm not. Again, here's the thing. If I'll ask you once, like, if there's something wrong, like, you okay? Do you want to talk about it? No, I'm fine. I'll be like, are you sure? You sure? Because I'm here. If you don't talk about it now, we can talk about it later. She's like, no, okay, I'm fine. I'm gonna believe you. I'm not a mind reader.
I'm taking your word for it.
I'm not your parent. I'm not your father. I'm not here to babysit whatever's going on. Right? We're both adults. Yeah. If I'm upset about something and you come to me and I'm like, no, I'm fine, but really I'm not. And this is what I can't hit. This is what God's like is. But you know that I X, Y, and Z. I don't know anything. You have to tell me.
Right.
You know? Yeah, fair. That's
and I think
I'll be
so.
honest.
And that type of communication is what broke down the relationship on the show. But also, yeah, like you asking your question. That's kind of what I saw and I realized. But also, it did make me think about, okay, for me to get in another relationship or even dating, how do I create the best environment for a woman to feel safe to also tell me how she feels as well? Because that's
Good
also
point.
another layer that I probably wasn't thinking of at the time. But it was something that I'd asked her actually. It's like, why do you not tell me stuff like? Because I'm not gonna blow up at you. I'm not someone who loses their cool very easily. So like, I'm not gonna ever blow up at you. I'm not gonna scream at you. I'm not gonna get aggressive with you. That's just not my style personally. I'm quite a chilled person anyway.
Yeah.
The most you're gonna get out of me is I'm gonna question you and probably make you feel a little bit silly because you probably realize that you're being upset over nothing.
Yeah.
So I probably, if I'm taking anything else away from the show, is like I have to think about creating a better environment for a woman to feel safe to then express how she feels as well.
Okay. So did she express that? Did she say like, oh, I didn't feel safe enough to express myself with you?
She never said that, but I had to ask her like why she doesn't. And the only thing I ever got back, which was actually more recent, was about, and that's over a year ago now.
Yeah.
Was whenever she would say something and I responded, I didn't make her feel confident. And I didn't even, because it was kind of like was having a back and forth, I didn't even get a chance to unpack what does that even mean.
Right.
Like, am I responsible for your confidence? I don't know.
Well, that's a good question. Did you feel that way with her? As in, if you opened up with something about her, did you feel she made you feel comfortable, like confident, or did she provide that safe space for you?
Good question. I don't know how to say this without
say how
like
it is.
An arsehole, but
just be real. Keep it real. Hey, listen, they've already done their villain arc on you.
Yeah, that's true.
There's nothing else that can happen.
I would say that it's not. I just don't think that she necessarily had maybe the depth to give me answers that would probably. Bro. Say
how it is. Say how it is.
I just don't think. I think we were on two different levels intellectually.
Sure.
You know, that's the nicest way for me to put it. So
okay.
I think I didn't have a problem going to her, telling her how I felt about things, but I don't think she would be able to maybe have the nuance and take me through her explanations and how she feels about things, because she really struggles to express herself.
Okay, that's a level of emotional intelligence and maturity, really, and everyone's journey is different. But yeah, maybe she just wasn't matching you on that point,
Yeah. So,
you know, which happens.
but yeah, I'm happy to open myself up in the right environment, and if people ask me questions. So I never really had any problems talking to her, especially how I felt anyway, personally.
Yeah. Wow, interesting. What do you think is in terms of dating, I guess blind dating women, what did you learn about what you're drawn to when you take away the physical?
Oh, so in that environment, I think it's interesting because a lot of the guys were attracted to the same girls. Like the top 5 girls were almost the same for most of the guys.
Really?
And I think number one is, you know, a lot of the women who didn't take themselves too seriously, they were seen as more fun, more like easy to be around, even though we're not around them, but you know, through that wall. So there's that. There's also, I guess, like a level of openness. So there were some women who kind of went in there and it was like from day one, they were trying to be, okay, you know, you've got to be doing this. You can't live with your mom. You got to have this. You got to have that. And some guys were like, whoa, like, yo, let's chill. Yeah, we're just getting to know each other. So I think you've got to be a bit more open.
Yep.
And then I would say as well, someone in a weird way, you've got to, I think we're talking about it off camera, but you've got to be a woman who's like open to letting the man lead, but not feeling like he has to lead, like, or as in he has to take control of every situation. You have to be able to kind of express that just through the questions he asks you and how you guys interact. Let him take control, but you know, be willing to step up if you need to, and you got to be able to express that, I think. And then last bit as well, actually, is the girls who, everyone in typical dating scenario, a man pursues a woman, right? But when you're dating blindly for a wall, although I'm pursuing you, in this particular case, I hold the keys because I'm the one that has to marry.
Has to propose,
right?
True.
And there's
Very
no
true.
sex. There's no sex here,
Yeah.
and I can't see you.
Yeah.
So your power in some ways is lost, because when it comes to dating, women are the ones that, you know, they control access to.
They have the power in the beginning.
To physical intimacy, right?
Very true.
But there's no physical intimacy here. So really, some of the men don't realize this, but in this show, the guy is he's the prize. I hate to say it, but the guy's the prize.
He like the only progresses to the marriage if the man proposes.
Right.
That's
so
right.
I think some women didn't realize that, yo, I've got to have some game too. Like, I've got to be able to draw him in and lure him in and flirt with him. And I think I realized how important it is for a woman to be able to flirt with me as well.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think one thing that sometimes I think people don't like to admit, or this is just the way it is, that in the beginning, in terms of women are the gatekeepers to physical intimacy and sex, but men are the gatekeepers to commitment and relationships. So in the beginning, as the guy, we have to qualify ourselves to the woman, as in, okay, am I the kind of man that she would want to share herself with intimately, within that, you know, affection, all of that. When you're dating and she wants the relationship, then it's on her qualifying to him, okay, is this the kind of woman that I want to have a relationship with, investing long-term, all of that. And sometimes women don't like to hear this because they're so used to having the leverage in the beginning, right? And it's really interesting because a lot of the time, especially if a guy's a good guy and if he's, you know, interested in a woman, 9 times out of 10, right? If they dated but it didn't become a relationship, it's because she wasn't showing up in a way that made him go, that's the kind of woman I want to invest in long term. Are there guys who are players? 100%. Are there guys who have ill intentions? For sure. But if he's a good guy and he's interested in you and he's open to something serious and you guys date for a bit but it doesn't progress somewhere, that's because he qualified himself in the way that he needed to for a relationship, but she just didn't do that with him. Do you know what I mean? A lot of time. And it's not, a lot of women, it's not easy to hear that, but once you're able to be like, okay, cool, how can I start to move in a way to demonstrate myself in that way? That's where the magic happens.
Yeah. But then I feel like the battle with that for some women is they don't feel like they have to prove themselves to men.
Well, they're just wrong. I'm sorry. Like, in the nicest way possible, like, if you see a guy that you want, bearing in mind, like, as a woman, 9 times out of 10, the guy that you want, other women want him as well, right? Now, other women want him sexually, but most of them also want him for a relationship. So both of you, you're not just going to choose a guy who you don't feel qualifies for what you're looking for. So why would you not have to do the same for him?
That's true.
And I'll be honest, something I always say, you can have your pride, you can have what you want. but you can't have both.
It's true. It's true.
Do you know what I mean? What do you think? Why do you think it's harder for women to get commitment today?
I think a lot has changed in the last 25, 30 years, especially with the growth of social media. And I think, and dating apps as well. I think that primarily a lot of women are swimming in the same pool in terms of try what they want, right? So I think the issue then becomes they're all chasing a select few men, and these select few men now have an abundance of options.
Very true.
And it's not within their dating strategy to just pick one person when they can have multiple. And I think that that's the issue that a lot of women are facing, is that either these guys are already taken or they're just playing. They're playing the field, so to speak.
Yeah.
So I think it's become a lot difficult. And then some of these women, they're not willing to look. Let's say they're looking here, they're not willing to look over there. They're not willing to look at, maybe just below that top tier that you want. There's probably a good set of guys there that have good morals. They will look after you. Yeah. They'll provide financially. They're probably doing okay. They might not be, but they're doing okay. And I think those guys that are just sitting in that middle pocket are getting overlooked because a lot of women are fixated on this top percentage that they're just not going to get.
Yeah. And
it's not to say don't aim high. Everyone should aim high in life. You need a little bit of delusion to be successful. But I think if they were to be a bit more open-minded and give other guys a chance, I think that they'll be more fulfilled in the long run.
Yeah. Why do you think they're so obsessed with this top percentile guy? What is it about this man?
I think it's a social media. I think it's a little bit of social media. Actually, I would say primarily is a lot to do with social media, because on the flip side, when you hear a lot of women talk about, it's so funny, as I was driving here, there's a TikTok that popped up and this woman was talking about why the London dating scene is crap and it's because guys think they're the prize and all this stuff, and she was ringing off all these things, and I think a lot of it just sounds like she just watched a bunch of YouTube videos and she just got her talking points from YouTube rather than the real world.
Yes.
And I do think a lot of it is down to social media influence. Pop culture is being driven to women to make them think that men are just these usable objects that are just supposed to do everything for you and they're doormats and that's it. Like they provide no other value apart from their wallet and maybe sex.
Yeah.
And I think, but I don't think that that's quite the real world, because people are still dating. So I think it's social media, to put it in a nutshell, keep the answer short, social media.
Do you think, is there anywhere you feel guys are delusional?
That's a good question.
Where are we delusional?
I think men can be delusional, but I don't think to the same level as women. And the only reason I say that, not to say all women are delusional, but I just think, I feel like men are a bit more self-aware of their level in terms of, and I think it's down to the way male friendships are. And I'll explain what I mean by this.
Go on.
In your friendship group, if you go out and your clothes are looking mad, bro, your guys are going to tell you, innit? If your hair looks mad, a guy's going to tell you.
Yeah.
If your trim looks dead, a guy's going to tell you. And I think that there's a level of realism that you get when you have a good set of friends, because they're just going to tell you, yo, you're not coming out with us like this today. Like, if my boy's fat, bro, I'm telling him, send him a voice note, bro, get in the gym, bro, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I don't think, not all the time, and I'm generalizing, but to have discourse, we have to generalize sometimes. I think sometimes with women, they don't always tell each other the cold heart truth. They will just kind of, it's friendship, it's different. But you will see it where a girl, maybe there's something that she could improve on and people will still be gassing her up. Men are not afforded that luxury.
Yeah.
So I think that's why we are not as delusional, but there's still men that are delusional though. So don't get twisted, but I don't think we're as delusional. Yeah.
I think there's two reasons for that, right? For that dynamic. I think one, for a lot of, and sometimes this plays into relationships with men and women, as in, when sometimes a woman will come, she'll be like expressing that she's had a bad day, what's going on. And guys, we're problem solvers. So we're like, okay, we need to do this, do this, do this. But sometimes we just need to listen, right? Because she's not coming to us to fix the problem. She just wants to be heard, right? To validate how she feels. So I think a lot of the time, right? Again, not always. I think for a lot of girls within their friendship groups, they prioritize how the woman feels in that moment, as opposed to necessarily telling her the reality of things, right? Whereas guys, it's like, I show love by telling you the truth because I want you to succeed. Like, if you're failing somewhere and I can see, okay, if you improve this, this is going to help you, but I lied to you to make you feel good in that moment, you'd be like, bro, why didn't you tell me? Don't lie to me for my feelings. How does that help me?
Yeah.
And I think the second reason, I think partly why us guys are like that is because we get punished if we're delusional by reality.
Yeah.
Like, as in, we can't go through the world thinking we're hot shit because our results will not show that at all. And in fact, if we don't make something of ourselves, you know, you won't get attention from women. No one's going to employ you or pay you for anything if you're not providing value to some you know, certain extent. So I think the world is more punishing of men for not being able to assess themselves accurately. I think for women, it's not as punishing until she gets older.
What age, roughly?
I think there's something they call online called like her kind of epiphany phase, which is essentially a lot of the time when they get into their 30s, because, and some people are like, oh, you know, when a woman gets to her 30s, she's no longer attractive. That's not true. If a woman's like really attractive in her mid to late 20s and she looks after herself, she's still going to be attractive in her 30s. But it's more about the awareness of, oh, okay, well, you know, they now have the awareness of other young, attractive women who may be dating the guys that maybe they're interested in. So it's more of this awareness of, okay, well, I'm a 33-year-old, you know, trying to date this guy who's maybe 32, but he's also getting attention from the young, attractive 24-year-old, right? And so I think we have that as guys when we're younger. You know, we're 20, 21, we want to date the really attractive 20, 21-year-old girl in our class. We're like, okay, maybe if I ask her out, maybe we can go to Nando's. Meanwhile, she's pulling into a Merc with this 30-year-old lawyer. And I'm like, oh, that's our competition. Shit. Do you know what I mean? I think because women get all, you know, they get their leverage in the marketplace up front, they don't really start to realize the landscape of maybe their competition until later. So I think what can happen is that if you have especially if she's very attractive and no one's, I'm going to be honest, if no one has told it to her straight because she's very attractive, because one, her friends are going to, you know, cater to her emotions, right? Guys are going to lie to her because guys want to sleep with us and they're not going to tell her the truth, right? When she gets into her 30s, where essentially the guys just won't accept kind of not the work done on the character because maybe, you know, okay, she's not this 24-year-old super attractive whatever anymore, right? That's when I think reality starts to kick in for a lot of women. And I say this because I speak to these women a lot.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they go, oh, at some point, just like no one wanted to be around me anymore. Like guys weren't giving me the time of day. They were being very short with me. I'm like, okay, well, you know, what's the feedback that you've been getting? Oh, okay, this is my character, this is my character. I'm okay. Have you worked on those things throughout your adulthood? Well, no, I never thought I had to. Well, now the pipe has come to collect his debt.
Do you feel like it's ever too late for women though? Or
no, I don't think it's too late because so I coach women, right? So I have a coach business and I coach women. And I've had this 63-year-old get a high value guy, right? To actually get into a relationship with her. So no, it's not too late, but she has to A, know how to understand what men are attracted to, and B, she has to put her ego aside and be, I'm willing to do the things to show that I'm that woman. And here's the thing, because a lot of women, at least from guys' experiences, are not willing to do that, it is actually really easy to get the guy that you want as a woman if you're willing to understand and actually do it.
Yeah.
If you're willing to do it, because, you know, you literally said, like, how many women are actually willing to be like, you know what, let me put my pride to the side. What is it that the man I want, what does he look for in a woman? And let me develop that in myself. Most women are not doing that, man. Which is why, from guys I speak to, especially these, you know, attractive, successful guys, right? A lot of them in my circles, entrepreneurs, etc. It's like, yeah, there are a lot of attractive women, but there aren't a lot of girlfriends and wives, you know? And that's why it's like, so when you're that woman who can demonstrate these qualities and really show up in that way, right? And then you have a standard for that, you know, okay, it's important to me that we're exclusive moving forward. He's going to be like, well, sure, I can have all 4, 5, 6 different women who are all very attractive, but I know that's just lust. But here, this is a woman who has real significant substance and she's having a standard for that. Yeah, that's 100% worth it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. What's your experience with that been like?
I would say that, you know, I think it's interesting when we speak about older women, because
I say this as a man who half the women I've dated have been older than me. Half have been younger, half have been older.
And I think, you know, dating a woman in her mid-30s, I think when I talk to them compared to maybe a woman that's my age or a bit younger,
Mm.
their worldview is so different.
Yes.
And what they want is so different. But also, you know, if I was seeing a lady in her mid-30s and she was like very intelligent, and she would like point out things to me that even I didn't really notice when it comes to like dating dynamics, men. But one thing about her is she was very blunt, and she was very honest about how she viewed men at that stage in her life. And I'm not sure if that was working for her or working against her, because
Okay.
it was almost like she was red pilled, like the way she used to talk to me. And I was like, oh, okay, like, so
Okay.
I think some older women, they're so aware, they're hyper aware of like what they want. They're not always sure how to get it. And because of some of the relationships or situations that they've had in the past, and they get into that stage as well where, especially if they're childless, they approach things in a much more black and white manner.
It's like an interview.
Yeah.
Like, as in, do you want this? Do you want this? Do you want this? Right.
Yeah.
And I get it, because there's a time element that they feel. But how does that come across?
It don't work. It don't work.
Why doesn't it work?
It don't work because I think that, especially if you're older women dating younger, it doesn't work, because if you're dating younger, his timeline and your timeline is going to be probably a little bit different, potentially. And also, there is a little bit of a yin and yang and a bit of a dance when it comes to dating. And men still want to have that dance with you. I still want to go through that journey. And whereas if it's just like, okay, this is what I need, this is what I want, can you provide it? It's like, we're not building up.
Where's the
dance.
fun?
There's no crescendo here. Like, it's just like, so
it's like they're looking for a partner, not a lover.
Yeah.
But we want both.
So
yeah,
it doesn't work just because of a lot of elements that I just think, and it's hard. And don't get me wrong, I think it's hard for women as they get older. Like, they experience what we experience as 18, 19-year-olds, right? Like, it almost goes in reverse for men. And and especially when they're childless, and also the societal pressures that they face, and all there's so many factors. It's multi-layered. But I think if they can find a way to approach things differently, they'll have more success. Yeah, in my opinion.
If you're loving this episode and these kinds of conversations, then I want to give you something. We recently launched the Kits Angels community. This is a sisterhood for women who are tired of what the dating scene has given them and are ready to take their love lives to the next level. It's a space for you as a woman to not be alone in your journey to love, where we learn, talk, and share our experiences as part of a strong sisterhood, with some leadership and guidance from yours truly, of course. Not to mention never before seen videos from me on how I've led dozens of women to meeting great men. And so, as a thank you for watching this episode, I'm giving you a month's membership completely complimentary on me. Just click the Kits Angels link below, and when you join the group, message me the code phrase Angels Podcast, and I will pay for your membership. Now back to the episode.
No, I agree. I think it is important. This is what I, say to ladies that, that I work with and that I coach. The older you get, the more you really have to know what you're doing. Like, you really have to know, because if we can't take that level of agency accountability, this goes for men and for women, then you're not going to attract the kind of person relationship that you want. And it does reverse in that sense, but let's be honest, even most guys don't get to a point where they have that level of optionality ever.
That's true.
Most guys never get to that point.
That's true.
I do think the adjustment can be very difficult for women, because, they're given a lot of their power and desirability up front. And when it starts to shift, especially because there's this pressure of, as a woman, you're only as desirable as your beauty allows you to be. Yeah, I guess it can be difficult for sure. But I would say the pro is that even if you're a woman in your mid-30s, to the guy who's in his mid-40s, you're a young, fine thing.
That's true.
Do you know what I mean? You're a young, fine thing. Or even to a guy in his, late 30s. So it's all, there's a level of relativity. Sure, you're not going to be a young, fine thing to the 30-year-old, right? But to the 56-year-old or the 46-year-old, right, who's ready to start a family, so there's that compatibility there. But I think, from what I've seen, I think a lot of them come to a point where this is going to be so much trouble. I've seen they get to that point where they start to realize the landscape and just kind of the reality of where they're at, and they go down one of two paths. They either go down the path of where they're like, okay, I understand, kind of where I'm at, what it is that I'm looking for. Maybe there are things about men I've not understood, which is why I've not gotten the best from them. Maybe I've not chosen the right kind of men for the right reasons. So I'm going to invest in myself and go on this journey where I can learn to do that, because in the next few years, I'm going to have the relationship I want. Or they just double down. Double down on there's no good men, double down on guys don't want to commit, double down on the problem is everybody else. And unfortunately, those are the ones that end up not getting the results they actually want.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Because, unless we're willing to accept the accountability of, I am responsible for the results that I have, no one else. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting. So what happened with, is it Katisha? What happened with her?
Katisha, yeah. So after the honeymoon, the next stage in the show is we then basically have a trial period of living in the real world. So that's when you get your phone back, you get your laptop back. They put you in an apartment. So we was living in Manchester at the time. And the filming is still as intense, but you get more downtime. And I think it's because you have your items back as well, you can escape the whole show process a bit. You can go out in Manchester, you can kind of do what you want a little bit. So essentially things were going okay. We had some issues, but it was going okay. I went out to Scotland, met her family, she met my family, all that kind of stuff. She went to my house, spent a weekend at my house, all that stuff. So it got to the final week, right? This is a week before wedding day. And there was another couple and we all went out, right? But the only people from the main cast that were there was me and the other couple. That was the night I was saying, oh, do you want to come? And she didn't come.
Right.
So that night we went to some bar and there was girls from the show, like the pod stage, right? So me and another cast member, her name's Sophie, we went into a photo booth together. There was no curtain. There was no curtain on the photo booth, right? So the whole joke this year is, there was no curtain.
Okay.
So yeah, we went into the photo booth, but we was talking. We was like arguing, it was like a jokey argument.
Yeah.
We was disagreeing about something the producers had said regarding why we hadn't dated in the pod stage. Like there was a reason why we hadn't dated. The producer told me one thing, they told her one thing. We was just having a laugh and joke about it. It was getting a bit animated, so we went into the photo booth, right?
Okay.
Mind you, yeah, imagine I'm here, she's here, and the photo booth's like this. It didn't have a curtain, so I'm thinking, all right, well, everyone can see us, so it's not really a big deal. All the other people can see us. Right. So I'm thinking, all right, it's whatever. We had an argument, done. Yeah, so then I sat down with the rest of the cast members, a couple of the guys, boom, boom, boom. I spent another hour there, then I went home. Then probably like 3 or 4 days later, so we come back from Scotland. I walk into we come back. I remember the day so clearly because Arsenal and Man City were playing. And I remember I went upstairs, I was cooking, I was watching the game, and she was like, oh, I've just got a message from one of the other girls, to like, oh, we're being filmed having a chat. Straight away, I just weren't thinking anything of it at the time. I was just like, oh, I just dismissed it. Like, it's a bit weird because that doesn't usually happen. Like, if you're going to have a chat, usually we would talk off camera like, yo, they filmed us today. Don't say this. Or, we might have a little chat.
Sure.
So I weren't thinking anything of it. She's gone, yeah. I'm sitting there cooking, headphones in, boom, boom, boom. She's gone for time. The game's done. Arsenal, Man City, game's done. I'm like, why is she still gone? I'm thinking, what's going on? She comes back, yeah. Mind you, so I'm upstairs. So I got my headphones on. I can hear something going on, but I'm not sure what's happening.
Yeah.
So I start walking downstairs. I can see the cameraman. Now, when you're getting filmed, yeah, they mic you up.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, why is he in the closet? Like, I can't see him. Like,
I see you, bro. I see you, see me, see you.
I'm walking down the stairs and I can see him in the closet. And I'm not mic'd up. So I'm thinking, what's going on? I turn left, go into the bedroom. I see her with a suitcase on the bed, packing. I'm like,
oh, wow.
I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
She's like, oh, you was with Sophie and Anu and all night. I'm like, all night? Come on now, let's keep it real, innit? All night. Let's not be dumb.
Yeah.
And then we're going back and forth, and I'm like to her, look, like, I was like to her, yeah, I went in a photo booth, but the curtain was like open, everyone could see us. I was like, I wasn't with them all night.
We were on a break.
I was like, I went with them all night because I went with them all night 'cause I was with the guys. I was
Yes.
with 2 other male cast members. So how could I have been with them all night? Like, and then, so then I was like, I didn't want to argue. So they don't show this on the show, but basically, as the kind of disagreement is ending, I just said to her, look, I'm not going to argue with you. How about you go and get Megan and Kieran, come back here, I'll be upstairs. So I was like, I just left it at that. So I walked off, went upstairs. She left. She never came back.
Right.
So
Wow.
she didn't go get them. So because I'm not gonna go back and forth with you. If you don't believe me,
Yeah.
and I'm telling you this, and I'm willing to sit in front of the people that are accusing me of something,
Yeah, exactly.
like, so
exactly.
she didn't want to do that. So she's gone, yeah. And then, so that's that, right? But then I knew at this stage in the process of filming, I knew that the TV producers, they want drama.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, you know what? Like, obviously I've got to go home, innit? But I'm thinking, before I go, they need to film me confronting the other two. So I've texted the producer. I'm like, look, obviously you guys have booked my ticket to go back to London tomorrow, but before we go, you've got to film me with them two. They were like, oh yeah, we'll let you know in an hour. Bro, they let me know in 15 minutes. They were like, yeah. They're like, yeah, we're filming it
Let
tomorrow.
me get the spicy drama straight up. Okay.
They're like, yeah, we're filming it tomorrow morning. Please be ready at 10 o'clock or whatever. I'm like, yeah, cool. All right, boom.
Okay.
So then obviously they've come in the room. I've just had it out with them. And it's funny because obviously the guy didn't say anything. It was the missus.
Okay.
So yeah, we're going back and
And
forth.
what did you say to them?
I was just like, obviously you guys have fed Katisha a bunch of lies. You know, it wasn't very accurate what you said. And then they were like, yeah, but from our viewpoint, it looked like you was with them all night. I was like, and she was like, every time we looked over, you was with them. I was like, okay, so you never saw me sit with Patrick. You never saw me sit with Demola. She was like, no. So I was like, so either you're lying or you're blind. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, either you're lying or you're blind, because that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Then was arguing about the photo booth, and I was like, the photo booth was wide open. All of you lot could see. So if anything, if I was doing anything,
You would have
you would have saw that. They were like, no, there was a photo booth, and it's funny because I stitched it like, and then her partner comes in. He's like, no, I saw you sit in the photo booth and draw the curtain, and I was like, bro, there was no curtain.
Damn.
So we're having
Straight
this,
up lying then.
so we're having this back and
Wow.
forth, yeah. Boom. Obviously the girl gets up and starts crying and walks off. You know the whole tears situation.
Yeah.
So that's that. Boom. That same day, obviously, Katisha's messaged me saying, oh, I made a mistake. I want to come back, blah, blah, blah. But the way the show works is if you leave, you're not allowed to come back, essentially.
Right.
Although they will make exceptions in certain circumstances. But I think because it was so late in the process,
Yeah.
they were like, nah. So she tried to come back. Then after that, so that was that. That's kind of how it ended. We spoke a little bit, like when the show was over, when filming was done.
Yeah.
But for me, I just felt like that was like a plain example of where her communication and her conflict resolution style was so different to mine. Because I wouldn't do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't want my partner to do that. And I just felt, I considered maybe trying, but I just thought, the way you behave there just let me know that that's not, you couldn't be someone that I would be with. Like that's, I just know that your style of, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done, and I'm just not willing to do that work with you. So I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah, it's true. Like, because how old was she?
She was 2 years older than me at the time. So she was 31, I was 29.
Yeah. It gets to a point, and this is one of the things that as you get older, when you're still dating people or whatever, right? There are just some things where you just don't have, I don't say you don't have as much patience for, but we're kind of like, look, if you haven't done that work, we're just not, we're not yet at that point.
Right.
You know, like we can't be making those mistakes in our 30s that we would do in our 20s in terms of how to like handle conflict or handle ourselves when we're emotionally triggered.
Right. And the thing is, I have no issue with you being angry. I have no issue with, you saying, like, why was you even talking to the girl? I get all of that.
100%.
And I apologize then, like, for like even entertaining that I shouldn't have spoke to the girl, blah, blah, blah. I apologize at the time. So I have no issue or gripe with her being angry at that. It's more for me, I was more like the way it was handled. I just know that if that's how we're going to deal with every bit of conflict, that's not going to work, because we're going to have conflict in our relationship, because that's just the way life is.
Yeah.
So if that's the way it's going to be handled, there's no way this is going to work anyway. So why? Like, I contemplated it, and I remember my brother-in-law sat me down, Nigerian guy. Yeah, he's like, he just put it bluntly, and it's like, she's too weak for you. He was like, she's too weak for you, so don't entertain her. And I was like, yeah, you're right.
It's one of those things.
I was like, you're right.
Did you ever have any experience? Because obviously, like, was Katisha, is she a black girl?
Yeah, she's mixed race. Yeah.
Mixed race. And then was Sophie black?
Sophie was white.
Was there any kind of racial colorism there? Because sometimes there's that whole narrative of, oh, you know, black guy getting out with a white girl, blah, blah, blah. Especially if he's got a black woman at home, all of this. Was there any of that? Did you get any backlash from that?
No.
That's
but
good.
I think it's because I think there was a little bit because Katisha's Scottish. And I feel like there was a bit of this, like she wasn't as associated with, I guess black people didn't see themselves in her.
I see what you're saying.
You know?
Yeah.
Whereas if it's like Anu on the show,
yes,
people saw themselves in her.
Yeah.
Even the way her situation panned out. Like, I think people, a lot of the black community, when you go through the social media comments and stuff, they felt, the black women felt for Anu a bit because it's like, you're like my sister. Whereas Katisha, I think it was the Scottish thing and maybe her being mixed race. I don't think people felt as like, black people, I don't think they felt as connected with her.
Yeah, interesting. That's so interesting, man.
Yeah.
Did you ever feel about, you know, as a type of way about that with, did you ever consider that when you were talking to the women in terms of culture,
Race.
where they're from, race, all of that?
So, yes, I think a lot of people think that I wanted to be with Sophie and that I only date white girls, which is not true. I've actually never dated a white girl.
Okay, interesting.
But I think,
why did people say that about you? Why
I think
did they say
because in the mixer I was talking to Sophie and the way they've edited it is as if like she was the only girl I was talking to that night. Mind you, obviously I was talking to Annie, I was talking to all the girls really.
Yeah.
But what happened? Sorry, in the pod stage.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can tell the races by
how they speak.
The name maybe gives it away.
Yeah.
And this season we were allowed to say,
Akintunde is definitely white. No, I'm sorry.
right. Like, this season we were allowed to say your heritage as well. So usually they don't let you do that, but you were allowed to say like if you're Jamaican or Nigerian or you know, Indian or whatever. So we were allowed to say heritage.
Yeah.
So you knew who they were, but I always felt like I've always dated black girls or mixed race girls. Yeah. Like I lived in America for 5 years. When I was there, I was lived in Atlanta. I was only dating black.
That's like the black Mecca.
Right. I was only dating black
USA.
girls. Like, so I was in there. I was just thinking, you know what? I didn't come on the show to just do what I always do. So I'm going to give it I'm going to be as open as possible, innit? So I'm going to try and keep it purely based on how you're chatting to me.
Yes.
So although I knew who was who, I didn't actually know what Katisha was. She just told me that she was Scottish and her mum was Jamaican and her dad or something like that. She has like Spanish in her.
Okay.
So I'm thinking I've got some cocktail in it. I've got some mix. I think, all right, cool. That's nice.
Yeah.
But she got a Scottish accent. Okay. It was intriguing.
Yes.
Me and Annie only had one date, so we never dated again. I dated Yolanda was the other black girl. We dated for a little while, but I think here's the thing with the girls, right? I think once the girls realized who like your main person is, once they work that out on their side, they become less interested in you. Like it starts to show itself in the dates.
Okay.
And maybe it's like a competition thing because they don't want to compete.
Right.
Whereas men, I think men are so used to competing that we'll take it to the
Like,
wire,
it
bro.
is what it is. Yeah.
Whereas they don't want to compete. They'll back themselves out of the race.
Interesting.
And I think that a lot of girls lost opportunities because of that mentality.
Yeah.
So
why do you think they have that mentality?
because they want to be chosen. They want to be the only one. They want to be the one and only. In that setting anyway, they wanted to be the one and only.
But I get that. But then how do you know, how can be someone's one and only like straight from the gate?
In this setting, you can't have that mentality because
Yeah.
it's 15 guys, 15 girls. So I always say, I've argued with some of the female cast on this quite a lot. It's like, I'm not saying there's a right and wrong way to do it because we don't know what we're doing. At the end of the day, we're taking part in a social experiment. But there was girls, I remember Kieran and Megan are the only two that are still married,
Okay.
They're the only successful couple out of 30 of us.
Yeah.
And there was maybe halfway through it, maybe like the first third of it, he gave Megan like a big gift. He gave her like some Japanese nerdy thing. I don't know what it was, some type of gift.
Yeah.
And all the girls on the other side were like, okay, so no one's gonna go for Kieran anymore because he's the guy. And then Sophie, they made it look like Sophie left because of that, although I do think she did leave because of it. But she basically left because her and Kieran were talking,
Right.
and she's seen him give her that gift.
Right.
So she's backed herself out of the race now as well.
Yeah.
Same thing with Demola gave Katisha a bunch of flowers.
Yes.
So now Yolanda and Anu have kind of said, oh, well,
backed off them.
yeah, like, you're not the guy for me because you want her.
Right.
Whereas if that happened the other way around, if I saw that the girl that I want was giving my man gifts, I'm like, all right, I've got to turn it on, bro.
Let's see.
What's
Exactly.
going on?
That's
Like,
obviously, let's turn up the heat.
yeah, like, I'm just thinking, what's happening here? So,
Because you know, if she sends you something, you know you're making progress.
right. So then it's like, it's different mentalities, man. I don't know why that is per se, but
I think because the masculine is naturally competitive.
yeah.
I think the masculine is naturally competitive in that sense. And the thing is as well, if we're being honest, I think not that women never have to compete for anything, but I think the male experience, the masculine experience is competition anyway.
Mm.
Like, you know, if we think about, you know, I don't know if you know this, but historically only 39% of males have ever reproduced, right? We have twice as many female ancestors than male ancestors. So, you know, we're not even guaranteed to get our offspring into the next generation. You know, when it comes to a girl that we like, we've always had to compete, right? Show that we're the kind of guy, or try and be the best kind of guy, whatever. A lot of the time, you know, which I think there's some value to this, but sometimes it can get too toxic. We're valued on the value of what we can provide to society, etc. It's not, very rarely is it just for who we are.
Mm.
So it's always been I don't even want to sound crude. It's even in conception, bro. It's one egg, millions of sperm. You're the sperm that won.
Literally.
Out of millions of sperm, you're the one that won. So from conception, the male masculine experience is competition. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's why we've had to embrace it, because we don't have a choice. Because if we're like, no, I don't want to compete, your lineage just dies with you, bro. It's simple. It's that simple, you know? Whereas for women, I think it's interesting though, because I think back in the day, I don't say women would compete for men, but back in the day, even if there was one man that she wanted and there were other girls that wanted him too, she'd be like, cool, well, what do I need to do to get this man?
Mm.
I feel like that was a lot more prevalent back in the day, but not so much now.
But I feel like a lot of women are also, we spoke about being deluded previously. I think a lot of women are kind of fed this illusion of choice because they do have optionality. Like, women genuinely have optionality.
Yes.
It's not always options they want.
Very true.
But they do have optionality. And some women they're unable to decipher between, you know, men wanting them for genuine reasons versus just wanting them
for sexual reasons. Yeah.
And because they can't decipher that, they're under the belief that I've got options. Yeah. So why would I go out my way for this guy when I've got 20 other guys in the DMs?
Yeah, it's true. I think recognizing the difference between sexual attention and romantic intention. Just because a guy will sleep with you doesn't mean he's open to a real relationship.
Facts.
So for you, what qualities for you, what makes the difference between a girl you go, okay, this is just temporary, we can have fun together, but I don't think there's anything long-term here, versus the girl that you'd go, I want to pursue a real relationship with her?
I think now at this stage, coming off the back of the show, there was a period where, well, during the year of me not filming, I tried to date, then I thought, you know what, it's probably not going to be the best thing to do, because when the show comes out, I don't know how people are going to take it, like, in terms of like how a potential partner could take it. So there was that. And then, so yeah, in terms of qualities and that, I think now sitting here, I think for me, the number one thing is going to be communication. Like, I realized it was something that I've always valued, but I think I realized watching the show back how much more I value it now more than anything. So communication and just being upfront, and also having that confidence to sort of, you know, be yourself. Like, don't be afraid to be yourself. I like to see women just be themselves and they're not trying to compete on Instagram, and they're not trying to do what everyone else is doing for the sake of it. I think a lot of us, this is men too, like we do get clouded with this social media stuff, and we kind of just forget to be ourselves and do what we want to do. Yeah. You know, like, there's a lot of stuff that I just want to do for me. Like, I might just go on holiday for 2 months and not come back because I just want to do it. Like, and I'm not doing it for Instagram. I'm not posting everything on my life. Like, just because I'm in the public eye, so to speak. Yeah. I still do things off camera by myself that no one knows about. Yeah. Because I want to live my life. I want to do things for me. So I think it's important, anyone that I'm potentially be with in the future, that they are able to kind of just do things for themselves,
Yeah.
and they're not too worried about what other people think. Because a typical, I was watching this YouTube video about, our society, like the pressure on women to get married, for example. And the whole, I'm sure you read the article about is having a boyfriend embarrassing?
Oh, I haven't read it, but I've heard about this, but can you enlighten us on
I haven't read it myself.
Okay,
So,
I've heard it about this whole thing about having a boyfriend is embarrassing.
right. But a lot of it and this is because I haven't read it, so I don't want to talk on it as if I've read it.
Sure.
But I can only go off my reaction to other people's reactions, which it kind of just sounds like a lot of it is predicated on what people think on social media.
Right.
Which for me, I don't want someone that bases their whole life on social media.
Very true.
Like, and I think, like, I don't want someone that's so inundated in their mind about, I've got to take that ring finger like this, the picture. I get it, but I want to just live in the real world with somebody, you know what I mean? So
Can I be honest? I'm gonna be honest. That whole thing about having a boyfriend is embarrassing. I think it's all cope. I think most people, men and women, want to be in a relationship with someone they care about, someone they're attracted to, someone they're excited about. And I think there's a growing frustration with both men and women, but I think men tend to retreat to other things. So men are like, well, if I can't date the kind of girl I want, I'm going to go play video games. I'm going to spend time with my boys. I'm just going to work on my business. But I think, and this comes down to masculine and feminine, the feminine seeks connection and intimacy a lot of the time. So it's natural, for people to want relationships and connection, but very natural for a woman, especially if she's feminine, to want that as well. And I think there's this growing frustration in women about not getting the kind of relationship they want, men they want not committed to them, all of this stuff. So I think there's that. Not saying there isn't societal pressure, but I don't think there's this. I think the amount of societal pressure to marry and settle down is the lowest it's ever been in the history of mankind.
You think so?
100%.
Why'd you say that?
Because back in the day, even having sex without marriage was frowned upon.
Yeah.
Back in the day, it was like, if you're 25 and unmarried with no kids, right? You'd be seen as like, what's wrong with you? That's not the case now.
Okay.
Because there are people get married later in life and have kids later. And two, not even that, but there are some people there are alternative lifestyles now. So there are so many different alternative lifestyles today that people choose to do, enjoy. Some people have kids when they're 20. Even if someone has kids when they're in the early 20s now, what do we say? Wow, that's really young.
Young, yeah.
That's really young, right? So even for someone who wants to have that, we go, yeah, maybe kind of late 20s, 30s is when, it's like the time to do it now, which is the latest it's ever been. That's never been the case, right? Yeah. So I think the amount of social pressure to be married and settle down today is the lowest it's ever been. So this whole thing about, I think having a boyfriend is embarrassing or etc. It's just all cope to be with, okay, maybe they want a relationship or they're not where they thought they would be in life, which is okay, right? We all have our own journey. There's nothing wrong with that. And maybe they don't know what to do. So I think it's all cope, man. I think it's all cope, because if you ask, and most of my guests on this show are women, 95% women, right? And also I work with women. If you ask 99% of women, would you rather keep things as they are, or would you rather be in a relationship with the kind of man that you love and respect and he loves and respects you, is the kind of man you want? They'll all choose that. All of them. I don't know any, sure, exceptions to the rule, but I don't know any person. I think men is different because I think we see relationships differently. We really know, okay, if we're going to have a relationship, we feel like we're taking a responsibility, right? So it's like, am I in the position where I can facilitate a relationship? I can really want her, but if I'm not in that position to be the guy that I want, I may not embrace that yet. Whereas from everyone I've spoken to, it's like, if the guy came along, she would absolutely embrace it. So I think this whole thing about it's embarrassing to have a boyfriend, I think it's just pure cope from women who maybe don't have the relationship they want to the women that do have the relationship they want. But then I've not read the article, so maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think it's important to read the article. And the only reason I haven't, well, there's other reasons I haven't. I'm not going to say, but
it's going to trigger the rage in you.
But yeah.
Maybe I should read it. Maybe I should read it. What do you think? Do us guys, what do we do for cope? What do we say is cope? Do we do anything like that? We must do, surely, I feel. Or are we just so real, like, yeah, if I ain't shit, I ain't shit.
I think a lot of people would say like the whole red pill thing is cope in some ways.
Interesting.
It's a backlash to, I guess, incel culture or people, or I guess it's more black pill where it's like, I'm not going to date, I'm not going to do anything. But I do think that is a form of cope for men. It's like retreating. It's like, I'm going to retreat because it doesn't matter whatever I do. I'm not going to be good enough for women, so let me retreat.
That's very much that black pill mentality.
Yeah. So I would consider that to be cope in some ways.
No, that's fair. Is that cope? I think now if there was a guy who was just really struggling with women, you know, I'd say that's really him. I guess that's cope to not evolve, I guess, actually, to be fair. I'd probably say that could be cope. Because like I said, most men throughout history have not succeeded with women anyway.
Yeah. But to remove yourself to even try, I think that's because the thing is, I look at it like this. It's to be better than an average guy is not that hard. That's how I view it. Because and the reason I say that is because, all right, just in our society, if there's a few things that you need to make a woman interested, right? Ideally, if you have good looks, it's genetic. There's nothing you can do about that. Control your body weight, go to the gym, look good.
Very true.
You can't control your height, but there's other ways to make up for that. Money, right? I think there's such an emphasis on money, but people need to remember there's an average salary, right? In London, it's what, 35k or something like that, right?
Yeah.
If I make 35k, or if I make above 35k, I'm actually doing okay. I'm doing better than the average person. So I'm talking about the average.
Doesn't mean you're thriving though.
Doesn't mean you're thriving.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about being better than average. And most men, if you can be better than average, so if your body fat percentage is below 18%, you're already better than average. You know that, right?
Sure.
Okay. The average height for a man is 5'10", 5'9".
Yes.
So, okay, the height thing is it is what it is. You can't do nothing about that. The money thing, you can get an above average salary. It's not going to be easy, whether you work a job or you go self-employed or you build a business. It's not easy.
Yep.
I'm not saying it's easy, but it can be done.
Yep.
So I think that to be above average for a guy is not as hard as people make it out to be. And there's ways you can improve your looks. Get a haircut, keep yourself, look after yourself. A lot of men don't even groom. They don't even groom themselves.
True.
The amount of women I talk to and they tell me some horror stories about how nasty some men are.
Yeah.
Like, I think men don't put their best foot forward sometimes. So it's harder for them than they're making it hard for themselves.
I agree with you. I do agree with you, but I don't think it's linear. So what I mean is I think in terms of being a guy and let's say the amount of women you can attract, it's a curve. So it's like, for example, okay, 5 out of 10 is average. Yeah, that's average. You could be like, yeah, to get to a 5 to a 6 is actually not that hard. You're right. To get to a 6 or 7 is maybe not that hard. You're right. But you may not start getting real abundance till you're 8 and above. So
what do you consider to be abundance though?
Abundance is when you have more options than what you have time for.
Okay.
Most guys don't have that. So here's the thing. You can get a guy who's above, if you get a guy who's a 6 out of 10 in looks, 6 out of 10 in financials, 6 out of 10 in confidence, 6 out of 10 in intelligence, he's not getting the girl who's 6 out of 10. He's not. The guy who's getting the girl who's 6 out of 10 is a guy who's 7 and above.
Yeah, but all you got to do is get one of those traits to be above a 6 and you might be all right.
When you say one of those traits, what do you mean?
It could be all right. Okay. How many guys, I'm asking you a question. How many broke guys do you know that still get women?
At this age, not many.
Okay. You killed my point now.
Oh, sorry. I think younger before, I think if they're, like, I know a few like musicians who are very talented, but they don't have any pendants to their name.
Right.
But they can still get girls because they're attractive and confident. That is true.
Boom. But and how would you rate their attractiveness and their confidence? If you was putting on a scale of 1 to 10, I know it's subjective.
I'd say like an 8, yeah.
Okay, so what I'm going to say now is, if you can have a few traits that are above average, you can do well. You can do well. Obviously, that doesn't mean you should neglect.
Sure.
You shouldn't neglect your weaker areas, right? You still need to. So like, if I'm doing well across the board, but my finances are low, I'm going to dedicate more time to try and improve my finances, right?
I agree with you. So what I would say is that the guy who knows, let's say he's a musician, right? 8 out of 10 in looks, talented musician, so he's confident, right? he can't keep women. He can attract them, but he can't keep them for a relationship because he doesn't have the other substance to facilitate. So I would say, yeah, he gains their interest, gains their sexual attention, but it's not getting a girlfriend. It's not getting a girlfriend. Can men improve? 100%. Is it easier to be better than average? 100%. But being above average is not what gives you the level of optionality that most men are looking for when it comes to women and dating. It's a curve. You know what? It's a little bit like wealth. Like building wealth, like you'll make right decisions, keep going, okay, and get to a point where you're building great wealth. And at one point you get to a point where everything compounds and then suddenly you're building great wealth. It's the same with guys. Like you work on your body, cool. You're tracking on. You work on your confidence, cool. You work on your talent, your competence, intelligence, great. And then maybe you're starting to get more, more looks, slightly here or there. So out of 10 girls, do you know what I mean? Maybe one would be like, yeah, I'll give him a chance. And then it gets to a point where out of those 10, 6 of them want you. You're like, when did this happen? Like, where does this come from? It's a curve. It's not linear. And I think for a lot of guys, they go, well, if I can't get to that part of the curve, I can put in all the effort to go from a 5 to a 7. The return on investment on that, for some guys, they might think is too low. But to go from like a 5 to an 8, the return on that is huge. Because like we know, most women are not looking for the average guy. They're not even looking for the above average guy. They're looking for the top guys.
They are looking for the top guys, but
what we see at least.
Yeah. But I think when you go out in the real world, you'll see that a lot of them, especially here, they don't get the top guys. A lot of these women don't actually get the top guys, or they don't keep them, right? So,
but they think there's something wrong with the guy, though. Let's just call a spade a spade. They go, wow, none of these guys want to commit. All these guys that I'm sleeping with don't want to commit.
And it's
I'm
all
like,
the guy's fault.
Well, I'll be honest with you, Janessa. I don't think those guys were considering it serious in the first place. We have to be honest with that.
But then I would say, I think it still goes back to what my point then, right? Because I still think for a guy, like you said, let's say it's a curve, right? I don't think you even need to become that top guy to get women. Like you don't need to be a top guy to get women.
No.
You need to display a level of competence. You need to look after yourself physically, mentally, spiritually. You need to make sure you've got good finances and you're able to be resourceful. Because I think a lot of women, they look at men and it's evolutionary that they want a man to be resourceful and have resources.
Yes.
Because they're going to have children and they need to know that their partner can look after them and their children.
Very true.
They're wired that way. It's not because they're gold diggers or...
Oh yeah, it's not a criticism. It's just the way it is.
Exactly. So if you, as a guy, obviously all men, we want to get to the top. We all want to be at the top. We all want to be millionaires. If you're money driven, you want to be a millionaire. You want to have everything. But only a select few people ever get there. Like,
very true.
Not all of us are going to get there, unfortunately. That's just the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah.
But you can still put yourself in a position where women see you as desirable and you have enough resources to look after a woman if the right situation finds you without having to be the top of the range guy. I think it's very possible.
Sure. Okay, actually, tell you what, I'm going to challenge you on that. I think you don't have to be a top of the range guy. I think to get women, you have to be a top of the range guy. To get woman, you don't have to be. If you just want to get woman, I think you don't have to be. I think you can be above average. You will get a woman. If you want to get women plural, I think you have to be. Even if it's not in every aspect. So you don't have to be the best looking guy. But I think if you're going to get women in plural, multiple, right? Or at least have that level of optionality, there has to be something about you that is a top percentile.
But that's what I'm saying. You need one trait. All right, let me put it this way.
Sure.
So I grew up playing football, yeah? So my whole friendship circle, footballers, professional footballers, that's been my life, yeah?
Yeah.
And I've seen guys, when they were playing football, women were throwing themselves at them, yeah? When they were playing professional. I know why.
Oh, okay.
But as soon as they stop playing football, they don't have that same pool. But
true. When
they were playing, they had maybe one or two really exceptional traits, their talent and what comes with the talent, right?
Their position.
And as soon as they lose that,
they
ain't got any of the other traits. Therefore, they don't have that gravitas. But they had that one trait. So what I'm saying is, if you've got at least one thing that's exceptional, you can be fine. Now you're going to say the retention point, which I agree. They
But
might not be able to retain
Didn't
women.
you just say that when they lost that exceptional thing, they lost it?
They lost it, yes.
But the
yes,
thing that
yes.
was exceptional was their financial economic position, wasn't it?
And their talent. But yes.
But they still had their talent when they lost it.
Well,
They just lost the position.
maybe they didn't have the talent to the degree they had it before. From a sporting standpoint.
Okay.
But what came with it, which is the finances, obviously, that's really that's the lever that footballers have, right?
Yes.
When they don't work on anything else, which a lot of footballers don't, they don't work on anything else about themselves. They don't work on their personality because they don't need to.
Yeah.
I'm a professional footballer. I make X amount. I don't need to work on my personality because I'm
him.
God's gift to the world, right?
Yes.
So they don't work on anything. They lose everything. However, the point I'm making is that if you have one trait that is exceptional, outstanding, you can get women. I'm not saying you can retain them though. So we're landing on the same point because I agree that the retention factor is what differentiates a man who's a bit more well-rounded.
Yes.
Because I think that's like, and that's not, how do we measure that?
I hear you, and you're not wrong, but not every attractive quality is created equal.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
So what's more important to get women? Is it intelligence or confidence? Are you more likely to get women if you're a 9 out of 10 in intelligence, but 5 out of 10 in confidence? Or if you're 9 out of 10 in confidence, 5 out of 10 in intelligence, right? Same with, for example, let's say looks and let's say stability. Are you more likely to get women if you are very, very high in looks, but average in stability? Or if you're very, very high in stability, but average in looks? Now, I think when we're younger, for men and for women, I think we almost primarily choose based on looks because we're not in the real world. We don't care about stability, etc. Then people get into the real world, they're like, this real world thing is hard. Oh, wow, there's this guy and he can not only provide for himself and provide for me. Super attractive. Do you know what I mean? Which is why I think there are a lot of guys, unfortunately, if they peak too early, they kind of shoot themselves in the foot because if they're so used to getting an optionality with women when they're younger because of how they look, and they just rely on that, when it gets to your 30s, women look at you like, yeah, you look good, but what have you been doing all this time? What have you been up to?
No, that's a fact.
Yeah, and you're right. There are some guys who maybe they're footballers that had things come to them, right? Or they worked hard for them. I should say come to them, but they earned that. But then they've not had to work on their personality because women forgave and tolerated stuff because of who they were. And then when they lose that, then it's kind of like, okay, the things that maybe you should have worked on, should have prioritized that. But then, I think if you, that's cool. I think as well that choose for the right reasons. Choose for the right reasons. I think if you choose a woman for the right reasons, then even when you have hard times, she sees value in you outside of the finances, the money. Sure, that's an attraction trigger. But if you choose a woman for the right reasons, and a lot of the time, I don't know if you think about this, a lot of the time I talk to, a lot of my circles are entrepreneurs, own their own businesses, attractive guys. And they go, from their experience, the women who are the most long-term that they see potential, then usually not the most attractive women. It's not the baddest girl in there.
I knew he was going to say that.
It's usually the girl who's like, yeah, she's attractive, but she's not. That's the one that they invest in.
I don't think most men want, they want it visually, but they don't want to settle down with the 10 out of 10s.
It's so true. And it's not because of they're attractive. It's just what a lot of time comes with that.
Because a lot of those women, and I hate to say it, and I put this on one of my stories the other day, is like, if you've ever been with like a conventionally super attractive woman, the amount of trauma that comes with it, it's not worth it, bro. It's like, and I think everyone should experience it.
Yeah.
Once you've experienced it, you're like, actually, this is not sustainable.
Yeah.
This is not sustainable.
One thing I just talked to my guy friends about, they're like, there's 3 things you can look for in a woman. Most guys, if you're lucky, you'll get 2. If you get all 3, it's a unicorn. A woman who's drop dead gorgeous, a woman who will never leave you, and a woman who is wifey material. He was like, most guys need to choose 2.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
part of the wife material is that work, right? So she might be drop dead gorgeous. She might never leave you, but might come with a lot of baggage. She may be wifey material. She may never leave you. She probably ain't the baddest going there. If she's all 3, You're Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Congratulations. But listen, absolute pleasure having you on, Javen. We're going to wrap it there. If people want to find you and follow your stuff, what you're up to, where can they find you?
YouTube, it's just Javen Palmer. TikTok, Javen Palmer. Instagram, Javen S Palmer.
Okay.
And yeah, that's it really.
Perfect. Well, bro, we appreciate you coming on. Thanks for
you
sharing your
having me,
energy
man.
with us.
Appreciate it.
Guys, go give him a follow, give him a like, all that good stuff. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye.